Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, for sure. I've been trying to do something like this for a while,
Oh yeah.
actually.
What's how has that been going?
Long, drawn out.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, just long and drawn out. I've been talking with Tony Ortega for a while,
Right.
and yeah, just a lot of just remembering things and then trying to remember them more specifically, and then writing it all down. It's a lot harder than I expected it to be sometimes.
Yeah. I definitely feel you on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How long have you been out?
So, all right. So when I was 17, I got declared PTS type B
Okay.
uh, because I got a DUI. So that technically counted as a criminal record.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the beginning of me starting to get out. I was still super gung ho at the time. I was just causing trouble, I guess. And so I did a program and at CC because I didn't like the org that I was at. I started at Orange County org to do this in Tustin, California,
Yep.
to do a program, and it ended up taking 2 years of my life trying to like get this type B off of me. And at that point, I just realized, okay, like they just don't want me around,
Yeah.
straight up. So I was like, all right, fine. So then I started like hanging out with people that weren't Scientologists and making friends other places, and that's when I started really like kind of waking up to how weird my life had been compared to other people and how much I didn't know about shit.
Yeah. Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. Now you were okay. So now you are a Rybacki, and
Yeah,
that's not an infamous name in Scientology, but it's one of many families
for
that are kind of
sure.
in Scientology. And it's
Yeah.
funny how you go around, I was okay. So first off, actually, just real fast. So were you ever staff or Sea Org?
Yes, both. Well, I was
Okay,
EPF, but I was definitely staff
got it. At Orange County?
at Orange County. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So the what you find when you go around, and I worked out of Los Angeles in the Sea Org, right, from '95 to 2012, and
And
mhm,
I said,
yeah,
dang.
17 years, man, and 8 years on staff before that at Santa
Do you
Barbara.
know, do you know Todd Miracle?
Oh yeah, is he
That's
still
my brother. He was here. Yeah.
is he
He was
still
my,
in?
Nah, dude, he's living in Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah,
good. Oh, good, because he was a good guy.
but he's not like out though either.
Okay,
You know,
he's still
I
still
he's
in.
he's defected.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, I'm glad he got out because he worked in the Wise office.
Yeah, wise in,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he moved up to Wise in.
Yeah, and he married that girl Rose.
Yep.
Rose, oh, she was CLO in, dude. She had some huge crazy post. I remember just like how like much presence she had over me at one point in time. You know, just like the thing that is the most crazy to me is how much power certain people had over me and I had given to them when they walked in a room, which is like so weird, just weird to think about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was born thinking that an OT basically had like superpowers. So when there was an OT in the room, like I was like, oh my God, this person knows everything that I'm thinking, everything that I'm doing. They're in complete control over all of their dynamics, including me in this room. That feeling was what like really pushed me out because I was scared. That was fear. I was living in fear. And I didn't know that. You know, I remember not doing things just because I would have to get it off in session.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I wouldn't do shit ever, you know, because I knew I had to go in session, bro.
That's right.
Like that is the thing that people won't understand unless they've been through some sort of like a cult type mass like program thing, you know?
Yep. That's right.
And that and that's what made me become a little bit more aware of myself, just that feeling and like diving into like, what is that? Like, what if I tested that a little bit?
Yep.
Does it really know what I'm thinking or not? So I dove into that, and then when I finally realized like, no, that's when sessions started getting really easy. everything, everything just got super easy for me until I like somebody found out that I was smoking weed or something, and then I don't know what happened. I just kind of just drifted away, and no, and they left the type B on me, and then I had this cousin who was in the Sea Org who randomly like hit me up like 5 or 6 years ago and was like, "Yo, I got that type B lifted off of you. Just FYI, you're in good standing now." And I was like, "What?" So I'm in good standing now, but I'm really when they find out that I've been talking to other people, which they're gonna find out soon, I'm not gonna be in good standing. Like my parents already know that I've been talking to Tony Ortega, and my dad took it as like his son died. My brother Justin did a story with Tony Ortega, and my dad basically considers him dead because of
Wow.
that.
Wow,
And
man.
when I made a GoFundMe, and when my dad saw the GoFundMe, he said it's like I lost two sons. That level of brainwash is crazy to me because I know he believes that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
In his hearts, bro. Like to him, he's like, "Damn, what are they doing to the bridge, bro? Like they're throwing it away."
That's right.
That man, I don't know what to say about that. You know,
It's
that's
kind of, I mean, isn't it kind of like, I mean, I don't know what your experience is. You know, you ever meet like hardcore Catholics or like
yeah,
hardcore, like evangelical Christians, you know, like the Bible thumping, you know,
yeah.
like it's the same kind of thing with them. Like if you leave Catholicism, if you leave Christianity, you start talking about other things, they're like, oh my God, you're going to burn in hell forever and damn fire and damnation. And you know what I mean? You ever seen that?
Um, honestly, I haven't really seen too much of that
Ah,
specifically Catholicism, but I have in other religions, for sure. In other religions like LDS, Latter Day Saints,
yep,
in
yep.
that, and then
It's like they
some.
disown you. It's like you're not part of the family anymore. It's like it's like the connection's just not even there anymore. And you're like, dude, you're my dad. You're my mom. Like, what are you doing? What is this? You know?
Right? But then I also realized like, oh well, they're also just a person, just like me.
That's right.
You know,
Right.
that's the part of them that's disconnected.
That's right.
You know,
That's exactly right.
for sure, and they're stuck in it. Because I have a kid, he's almost 3 months now, and I couldn't imagine treating him the way that I was treated growing up. I couldn't imagine that. Like that blows my mind, dude.
Yeah.
But I know better now, though. You know, see, and I feel like I don't really know how it is for someone and what was really going on in my parents' life that drew them to Scientology. Some kind of trauma, some sort of abandonment issues, that I think, because it's the group that they like. You know, they like
Yep.
the group. They like the people that they're with. They all are interested in the same things. But oh man, I could go on forever. I don't even know exactly what I'm
Well,
talking
let me
about right
ask you
now.
some questions, man, because I got all kinds of questions for you here about this, because I want to, basically, I've interviewed over the years a lot of people who used to be Scientologists.
Okay.
Okay. And I've done podcasts, I've done long, multi part interviews with people, and we break it all down. And we don't
Okay.
necessarily have to do it in that format with you today. I'm just saying I've done a lot of these interviews, and I've always
Sweet.
called them the Scientology experience.
Oh, because this is my first one.
Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, I don't know how much we're going to cover with you today, but I want to know about you. I want to know about your experience with it. You grew up
Yeah.
around it. I want to know all that stuff, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
people,
So
yeah, people are interested in that.
I was born in Belleville, Michigan. I had a natural birth. I was in a trailer. My parents were already Scientologists. They had met at the Ann Arbor org, and they were going on some training mission somewhere to like maybe LA. I forget, to Detroit org. They were going to maybe a higher org in Detroit, and that's where they met, like on the caravan. And they had 4 kids, and we're all like pretty close in age. But they were
Can I, if I can
yeah.
interrupt, I'll just throw random questions at you from time to time. About when was it that they met?
Let's see, 80, probably 85.
Okay, cool. Just to give a time to it.
'85.
That was the year I got into Scientology, like
80,
officially.
yeah, that's like,
Actually started doing classes,
so they were both staff and they met on staff.
Okay.
And they had us. I got two younger sisters and an older brother from my dad. And my mom had two kids from a previous marriage before she was with my dad. So I have a stepsister, or sorry, half sister who's older and a half brother who's way older. They're in like their early 40s now. And Todd, that's Todd Miracle. He's my half brother.
Yep.
Who you for sure. I'm gonna tell him about this. He's gonna trip. me, me and Todd like talk about this all the time, but we don't get to talk much. But when we do, it's a lot. We just talk about our past and our history and how trippy everything is, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then my dad, I forget what he was doing at the time financially. I really can't. I was too young to remember, but all of a sudden he started making more money. I knew that. We moved from a trailer to a big ass house in Whitmore Lake in Wayne County.
Do you know why it was he started making a lot more money?
He started doing this like consulting, like marketing things for dental offices. This like strategy.
Ah.
He invented like his own like way to do it and get more customers through marketing. And he used, I think he used a lot of things like in Scientology, like the study technology and WISE stuff,
right.
Statistics, graphs, and conditions, and put it all together like his way, I guess. And I guess it worked.
Yeah, business consultants can make bank. That's for sure. And in the 80s, especially 80s and 90s, Scientologists, and this is just for the audience to know, right? There were Scientologists who would get licensed by the Church of Scientology International, right, in order to be what were called WISE consultants. And WISE is not just the word WISE, it stands for something. It's World Institute of Scientology Enterprises. And it's actually a unit inside the church whose job is to get Scientology policy and administrative procedures exported to secular businesses, usually run by Scientologists or by people who are not yet Scientologists, but this is a way to introduce them to Scientology and get them going. And this was the number one way that the Church of Scientology in Orange County, in Tustin, the place you ended up at, this is how that org grew to be one of the largest organizations on planet Earth for Scientology at that time. And they became like the first org to become St. Hill size, quote unquote, because of this business consultation, get people into Scientology. They had a whole thing worked out. So it sounds like your dad was doing something similar or hit on this somehow and started making some money.
Yeah, he did. I remember one year he made over 375 grand doing it. I remember him telling me that.
Yep.
So I know that whatever he's figured out, he's definitely, it's a numbers game though.
Well, it's funny that he ended up in Orange County. How'd you guys go from Michigan to OC?
He got a good job, started making more money, and he wanted to be closer to LA org, and there's just more Scientology over there. He wanted us to be raised up over there.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, Orange County was chill, but it's a little too hype for me. Everyone's just running around too fast for me.
In Scientology, yeah.
Even not in Scientology, man. Like, I like LA. I'm down with LA. I can handle I'm a city rat, but put me in the suburbs, I start to feel weird.
Yeah. Yep. I know what you mean. Yeah. I grew up in LA. I grew up in Pasadena.
Okay.
So I total city guy. I can't. Yeah.
I started in Ann Arbor, running around Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I started running around LA when I was like 9, probably.
Right. Just like me, man. Because my parents got in the 70s. So I grew up at Pasadena Mission before it even became an org.
For sure.
Right. So I think same, right? We grew up around it. You hear all the language.
A lot in Tahunga.
Yeah.
That's Starbucks. There's a Starbucks all the Scientologists hang out at right there. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I do. I do know what you're
Okay,
talking
yeah.
about. Tahunga's where all the rich Scientologists live. That's like in LA, they're all there in
Yeah.
Tahunga. Yeah. I grew up over in Pasadena because we weren't rich.
Okay,
We
yes.
were pretty poor actually. I mean, we were not poor, but we were lower middle class, let's put it that way.
Here, we grew up in Tustin Meadows, but we call it Tustin Ghettos. But it really wasn't ghetto though, bro. It really wasn't. But
Right.
I wasn't living it up like what's that girl's name, man? Not Kelly. The actress.
She
She was in Look Who's Talking. I hung out with her kids.
Oh, Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley, yeah.
Yeah.
Her nothing like her house, bro. I ended up at her house one day, not knowing that I was at her house. I just ended up in this weird caravan of Scientologists hanging out. I was hanging out with my dad. He lives in Clearwater, and they recognized one of my sisters. They recognized my last name. They're like, "Oh, you're Brooks' brother." So automatically I was in. But I've been out of Scientology for a while. But these kids were rich, dude, like way richer than me. They had the nicest cars. They ended up like taking me back to their house, and like I was chilling. I found out they were Kirstie Alley's kids, Lily and True Parker. I probably have to edit it out, but
What was that last?
I said we might have to edit that out because I just said their names. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I might take. I mean, if we're talking about her kids, everybody knows who her kids are.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's public record. She's got kids.
Okay, cool.
But whatever. I'll think about that. But
Okay.
but damn. So okay. So you were kind of bouncing around in LA. Like, when did you guys go from Detroit to LA? How old were you?
I was 9.
Okay. And so this was what, in the early 90s?
Yes,
Mid
I was
90s?
95. I was 9 in 95.
Okay.
So,
So the same year I'm joining the Sea Org,
yeah.
you guys are coming out to LA.
Yeah, I'm from Orange County.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had a really bad learning disability. I couldn't read. I couldn't read all the way until I was like 11 or 12.
Wow.
I know I must have been 10 or just turning 11 because I couldn't read when I moved out here. So they put me in like tutoring, private tutoring. But as soon as I could learn how to read, by age 11, I joined the Sea Org.
Wow, man. 11 years old. So what, 1997, you're joining the Sea Org?
98. It was 98.
98. God damn. In pack?
Yeah, pack race.
Wow. So you probably ran right past me a couple
Yeah,
times.
probably literally did. I was supposed to be going to CMO. That's
Okay.
how they recruited me. And they use like policies like basically like that show that indicate that CMO is supposed to be ran by kids.
Yeah.
Dude, thinking about that now is so weird. Like, hey, we got this policy, we got this whole department in this organization that's supposed to be run by kids here. That's so gnarly.
Yes, it is. I mean, I got to tell you, when you're in it, and I have spent years explaining this to people, right? And trying to break it down and trying to make it make sense. But there are times when we're like you and me are sitting here talking about this, where it is so Twilight Zone. It's
For
so
sure.
weird that we ever thought that was normal,
Well, that's all I knew.
Yeah, me too.
That it was super normal, but there was always this like feeling inside of me that knew something was off, bro. As fuck. Like I just knew something was off. And I could never quite place it, but it always sat with me. And the older I've gotten, I've realized that feeling was because it was off.
Big time.
And it was wrong, and it wasn't me.
No.
It wasn't. I mean, it was because of like the type of person that I am. I just naturally like resisted.
Yeah, so what happened? So you're 11 years old. So your parents are okay with you going off. You sign a billion-year contract.
They weren't at first, but I became such a good reg for myself. I just was just like, you guys don't care about the world. I'm gonna be clearing the planet, man. I'm gonna have this badass job in CMO, and you guys are gonna degrade me because of my age. Come on,
Okay, so back up a second. How did you get to that place as an 11-year-old? Where they were recruiting you, but what were they telling you that you were?
They were me that I'm going to be basically an adult now. I'm going to be in CMO. I'm going to have one of the most high ranks in the organization, and I'm going to have it's going to be confidential.
Right.
And so they'll put me on the EPF, and then they're going to put me on the CMO EPF, and then I was going to be CMO into their little crowd.
Wow. All right. Now let's go ahead and clarify for everybody what the CMO is, because it's a little weird. It's not just an organization of a bunch of kids. I mean, there are mostly adults there, right? But there are, I'm sorry?
Mostly female.
Yes, mostly girls. That's right. And women. In fact, the 17 years that I was in the Sea Org, I think there was 1, maybe 2 years where CMO was run by a man. The rest of the time I was there, it was women running it. And different women, you know, there was power changes and stuff. But and there were always young women in the group. And I think that mostly had to do with the qualifications, because you couldn't have had any, you know, ethics history, which means no drinking, no drugs, no sex, no underage sex, none of that. You couldn't have anything like that. And it turned out in Los Angeles especially, it was girls that were fitting those qualifications more than boys.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That's why I was a perfect recruit at age 11.
Exactly.
I had it. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why they go for the young ones. And okay, now 11 years old. Now a lot of people are listening to this and thinking that that is insane, because it is insane. But how do Scientologists, I'd like to hear how do you explain how that was made okay in the world of Scientology?
Because you're taught that you're a spiritual being. So like you put that mindset before everything else, and everything you do is to help you as a spirit become more in control of yourself and less effective others in the environment. And any decision that you make is to help that greater good at all times. And if you don't do that, then you're showing that you're not really as dedicated as you say you are, if you're not letting your kid join the Sea Org. And if you argue with it, then it's like, well, then you're a fraud Scientologist. Why would you want to stop anyone from being in the Sea Org, no matter what their age? Age is just a consideration, is what's thrown around the Scientology social network a lot. You know, when someone says something about age, there's a lot of people that date like 19-year-olds to 21-year-olds, or even up to like 23-year-olds that'll date 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. I even seen one 19-year-old with a 13-year-old, and they were having sex because her boyfriend CSW'd her parents, and the parents said, yeah, right? Could you imagine being a boyfriend CSW your girlfriend's parents to have sex with her when he's 19 and she was 13?
Whoa.
Bro, some scandal. Dude, my dad's business partner, when I was 15, had sex with my girlfriend when she was drunk, when we were in Mexico one time, when she was 15 and he was 38. And then they ended up having a 6-month-long affair. Dude, oh my God. They ended up having a 6-month-long affair back in the States after we got back. And her so this dude's fiance was one of my mom's best friends too. And people found out about it because this dude's roommate was dating the sister of the wife of the ED Orange County org. So he told his roommate told the chick, and the chick told the sister, who told the ED. I get in, I'm in the DSA office at the time. I'm the DIDAO. I get in, and Andrea, this girl, she was the PR. So I get in, she's crying, and she has like these stacks of KR. She's like, I've been fucking your girlfriend for 6 months. I'm 15, dog. Years old.
Wow.
I'm maybe half, for sure. This dude's 38. Bro, no, they brushed it under the rug.
Did they? The real world, they covered it up?
World, yeah, in the real world, when that stuff happens, the DA will pick up on a case like that.
Oh yeah. No,
he got threatened with, or maybe got a PTS type B for a very short amount of time. If he did, it was only for a couple months, and he had his OT preps paid for.
So this guy's already clear?
Oh yeah, he's got his OT preps paid for. Yeah, he's already clear. His parents are known keys.
Okay, so now let's just do a little compare and contrast here for a second, right? Because you we started this talking about you getting a type B declare. Now now this is an internal church thing, okay? So
Yeah.
the church has, for those of you listening to this, right? The church has its own internal justice system. And
Yeah.
it's a snitch culture, right? So
Yeah.
these reports that Shane's talking about, this is reports that are written by Scientologists on other Scientologists, because you're always watching other Scientologists, and writing reports to this section of the church called the ethics section. And they pile up these reports, and they keep files on everybody, and they investigate people, and they've got methods for this. Hubbard was really into thinking he was all about spycraft and shit, and he laid out this whole snitching system, and all Scientologists all over the world follow this thing. This is how Scientology's run. And this is how bad deeds come up, right? So you go into Scientology, you become a Scientologist, you start doing the services, you become part of the culture, you make friends, you meet the staff, et cetera, and you start interacting with people, and then they start noticing things in your life that maybe are against Scientology codes, or, you're breaking the rules. Well, they're going to write you up. You're going to write them up if you see them doing stuff, right? And it becomes this sort of crazy power play thing, because there's power in knowledge and writing people up and getting them in trouble for shit. So this is how Scientology culture works all over the place. But then you get these crazy situations like this one, where you get drunk, get pulled over, have now a quote-unquote criminal record, and you get a type B declare that sticks for 2 years.
No,
right?
It stuck for 8 years.
8 years. Okay. This guy, 35 years old,
38
years old, statutory rape with a 15-year-old. There's no question about it, right? Is underage. It's completely not okay. There's no way she could have legally consented to that. And he gets a slap on the wrist? Like, what's up with this? Now, I'm thinking what I think the reason is, but what do you think the difference is between you and that guy?
I think I'm just more looked at as like a flap or a security risk. In general, I don't have any money.
Bingo.
I don't have any money coming to me.
Bingo. There it is.
I don't have parents that are going to support me the way his parents support him.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Or his parents were OT7s and OT8s.
Wow, man. Wow.
And he has to be clean, because in order for them to uphold their persona, they have to be have nothing on all 8 dynamics to be in whatever level of OT that they're in. They have to be clean in all dynamics. So that means their son has to be clean. He has to be clean. And everybody else just had to ignore it because it was being handled by the church.
This opens up a whole can of worms about how the church covers shit up. Now, I have talked all about cover-ups in the church. And every single person I've ever interviewed or talked to just about has had some kind of story like this, where Scientology screwed him over some way like this.
But you want to know something else real fast?
Yeah.
My parents invited, I guess it really technically wasn't my parents. My little sister got married 2 years ago, and they invited this dude and his wife to the wedding where I was. That's crazy, right? Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't realize that the business partner in this guy was a staff member at the org. So they got triple layer reasons to cover this up and not let everybody know about it. Because all of the people he had ever audited, all of the people he ever interacted with, the fact that he was OT, the fact his parents are OT. I mean, there is so much damage control being done here by covering this up. Now, you worked in the DSA office while this was happening?
Yeah, bro. It came straight to our desk.
Oh, okay. Now, the DSA... DSA is legal. Okay, so DSA is Director of Special Affairs, Office of Special Affairs. So this is the legal division. So this stuff's coming straight to you. You're the assistant to the DSA.
I was the Deputy Information Data and Analysis Officer.
Okay, that's what that meant. Okay, so your job was to get all these reports and kind of file them and stuff?
But yeah, file them and stuff. Yep, there you go.
Okay, you were kind of doing clerical, administrative kind of work.
making sure people were upholding by their legal policies in the church, smoke detectors being there, right amount of fire shooter things, take what the fire extinguishers,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, just like legal routines, you know,
Right, right,
or
right.
on tech stuff.
All right, so let's get the story out here from beginning to end because I am infinitely curious about this. So you walk into the org one day. How long had you? This is prior to you going in the Sea Org, right?
Yeah, so
Okay, so how long have you been there?
I was in the SEERC for 3 months.
No, no, on staff.
Oh, I was on staff for a year and a half.
Okay, and then from staff you joined the Sea Org.
No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Oh, it's usually the other way around. Okay, okay. So you didn't make it on the EPF.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to use the card basically that I was 11 years old when I CSW for staff because I was technically ex-ESA.
Right.
So then they took away I was 11, bro. They took away my label. They're like, this is a joke.
Right.
So
Yeah.
my recruiter was Kenneth Doherty and Tiber McCormick. I don't know if you know
Oh
those
yeah,
names.
I remember. I knew everybody in Pac-Man, especially back then. Oh
So
yeah.
Tiber McCormick and Kenneth Doherty were my recruiters
Okay.
when I was 11, dude.
Yeah, they were desperate, man.
They would let me
Desperate.
smoke cigarettes too. Plus, I thought it was cool to smoke cigarettes for some reason when I was 11. I don't know, man. It must have been the way how they raised us like adults. Like, I started smoking like a pack a day almost at 11. For sure.
Damn. Damn,
Trying
that's a new
to,
one. I haven't heard that one.
yeah, I mean, kids smoke young. I started by 12. I was drinking beers. Yeah, just like regular. Yeah, man.
Wow, wow, man, that's new. That's new on me because I as a Sea Org member, I go into the orgs from time to time. From during this time, right? During the time you're talking about, I'd go down to the orgs, but I was never paying attention to the children. They weren't on
Okay.
my radar at all. I mean, this underage drinking and smoking, not even. I never even saw it. Wow.
That there was a lot of that going on.
Yeah,
A
I'll
lot.
bet.
At least between us staff kids. I mean, we also thought we were like adults. We were beings. Like we're spiritual beings. Like why stop us from doing whatever we want? Like whatever we wanted to. We weren't hurting anybody. We weren't doing drugs. Alcohol wasn't considered a drug, so you could drink and pretty much get away with it if you don't do dumb shit.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to the story. So walk me through it beginning to end, how this thing went down.
Which thing?
With the thing with your girlfriend.
Okay, so this is the first, and this is just me remembering. I remember Christina. I'd already broken up with her. I'd already broken up with Christina when I found out, and I was already seeing somebody else at the time that I found out. It had been like a full year had passed before they told anybody. And I remember Christina was driving me to her dad's house because I was friends with her dad still. And she pulled over the car and she was like, "Hey Shane, I need to tell you something." I was like, "All right." It had been like 8 months since we broke up, so I was like, "What do you need to tell me?" She was like, "When me and were in Mexico," I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "We went to a gay bar," and I was like, "Okay, so." She's like, "Never mind," and then she kept driving. But now thinking back, I realized she was trying to tell me right there what happened, and then she like bailed out last minute. And so a couple of days later, I show up at work, and Andrea Clark is in my office. She's not allowed in our office because our office is confidential, and the PR side, that's public side. So I remember thinking, like, what the fuck are you doing in my office? Our office, just because I had that rank thing too going on. And I was like, and she was crying. And then she wanted to talk to me. And I was like, me and Andrea didn't even like each other. So I was like, all right, why is crying Andrea here trying to talk to me right now? This what world does this happen? She's like, she had like this stack full of KRs and papers and things that shouldn't be, and just like all sorts of shit from all sorts of people. It was like a lot, dog. It was a flap.
Wow.
And
So this thing had blown up.
Amongst people, yeah, amongst executives. And I remember her just being like, "I'm so sorry." But I remember thinking like, man, like I knew there was something wrong already. Me and Christina stopped having any intercourse for 6 months, and I didn't even know why. I just no longer wanted to like. I was no longer interested in her that way, so I just naturally stopped. Even I checked out. I didn't even. It was weird how that happened. But anyways, I ended up breaking up with her. Whatever. I was seeing somebody else, so I didn't care when I got the news. Obviously, it didn't really affect me that much, but it was big time because it affected everybody else. And this dude broke the law in a serious way that if it got out, that's a case that the state would pick up on themselves because they defend. They're supposed to be defending the people that are defenseless, and that would be considered one. So then I was basically, of course, told to keep it hush.
So what happens to him? Okay, so you guys get all these reports. What does the DSA do? What happens here?
She says this is fucking bullshit. Of course, was a fucking pig. If it was me, I would fucking fry his ass. But he's on his OT preps and all this shit, and there's all these people involved, and like you said, there's so much going on. It's he has to handle this at AO. He had to go to AO and handle it with them and talk with the international justice people because he was on OT preps. So this was like an advanced org problem. And so we were told, of course, to just do our job and keep our fucking mouths shut because everything that we talk about is confidential in the DSA network. And we're our own network. So like we're executives at the same level as the ED in our org board.
Yep.
Anyway, so we kept it quiet, and I never thought anything of it. This was normal to me. This was like a normal every day. I was so cynical, and we used to talk about that in the DSA office, how cynical we are. We're just like, because all we do is deal with flaps. That's our main job, is deal with flaps and follow people. My job, I followed people when I was 15 years old. That was part of my job. They trained me with a private investigator for 3 days before I went on my first mission.
Okay, you have got to break this down for me. What are you talking about? You're 15 years old and you're following people? What?
Yeah, bro. Dude,
for what? What were you following people for?
They were, as far as I know, because everything is need to know. I remember we got a picture of them. We were told where they were going to be. We all have Nextels. So I remember we show up to the cafe. This was in San Francisco it was either for a comic convention or a grand opening of San Francisco org. It was for either one of those. We were there for both. And so we were running security on watching these two. It was a older, like a late 50s dude and late 50s like wife. And I think they were known protest organizers. So that's what I think. I really don't know. I just remember watching them and being honestly like really fucking bored because I'm sitting in this cafe for like 3-4 hours. And I remember just thinking like, damn, these people are boring as fuck. Do something, man. But then when they moved, we just told them where they went. And then they told us to come back to wherever the main group was at that time. And then they had me follow other people that were going to the Comic-Con convention, passing out flyers that had like OT data on it.
Okay, got it. And who are they? Who are they that are telling you who to follow?
OSA.
Okay, so people Sea Org members, OSA, or your senior from Org?
So when I went on a mission, I went with my senior pretty much always, except for one other time. Yeah, everybody is Sea Org when we get there.
Okay.
So directly, we're a network, and our direct seniors are Sea Org members, just like how the ED's seniors are Sea Org members.
Yeah,
it's the same exact thing.
Okay, so your Orange County staff, though, you're down in Southern California. What are you doing up in San Francisco?
Well, I'm DSA, so our networks are all integrated together. So we went to help out that DSA network with security.
Got it.
They were have enough staff, yeah.
Okay, and this was because of a lack of personnel then.
Yeah, and it was either the grand opening because we've done a few different missions out there. One was for a comic convention, and then one was for the grand opening of the San Francisco org, where COB was there actually.
Right.
I got to see him. I didn't talk to him, but I got to see him, and I that's when I learned that he smoked cigarettes. I was told like to keep that like on. That's a PR flap. Like don't say anything about that. Like all right. I thought it was cool. I was like, hell yeah, COB smokes cigs.
Yeah, he does. I never even thought about it. You're right. It's not a public knowledge thing, but yeah, he totally smokes, just like he drinks.
Yeah.
Drinks a
See,
lot.
I didn't know that he drank.
Yeah, none of
I
us
really,
did. None of us did. He
I,
only did that. He only did that crap when he was back at the base.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was pretty much in my own little world. I never messed with COB that much. I just was in my own little like bubble in Scientology. I wish I could name some. Well, I did name some names, so you kind of know.
Okay, how long? Remind me again. How long did you work in the DSA office?
I worked in the DSA office for about a good year.
About a year. And how many of these missions or projects were you going on?
Um, Probably like close to seven like missions, and then projects we do every single day. So I can explain real fast what my
Yeah,
average day would be
tell
as
me.
okay. So I would get my senior would pick me up at around like 4 in the morning, and we would go to all of the newspaper presses or printers and get the first copy that came out before it got sent to everywhere. Then we would grab a coffee, of course, go to the office, and we would take our highlighters and look through all the newspapers and highlight every word that says Scientology if it's in there. And then we would come back with a knife or scissors and cut out the article that it was talking about, and then we would post that on poster board. Once I'm done with that, we go to the courthouse and we have a list of names and files to pull. And we just go get those names and files pulled. We take them back and then we bring them back and we put it in a file to go to wherever it's supposed to go. And then we send it out. And then from there, after that, it's about lunchtime. I have lunch and I get back from lunch and I have like a sheet of legal rudiments that need to be conducted for the building. Everything has to be up to code. So I walk around the building and I get with whoever's hat that is that runs these things. It's boring stuff, man. It
No, I
really
get
is.
it.
You know? And then I go around and I make sure everyone's legal rudiments are in each division. And then
Basically,
from there,
all legal rudiments means it's a Scientology term, but all it really means is you're going around and making sure the law is being complied with when it comes to how many fire extinguishers and the building code and all that crap, so you guys don't get sideswiped by an inspection or something.
right.
Yeah,
And then other than that, whatever little flaps come and handle our way, I pretty much just do as I'm told.
right.
And I'm not told very much of each situation that occurs. I'm only told all that I need to know to be a part of so I can do something.
Yeah,
And it was
compartmentalization of
very,
information.
yeah, and I wouldn't even dare to ask. I remember one time I asked a question and my senior looked at me and she was like, "Don't ever fucking ask questions like that again. Ever." And I was like, "Damn, all right. For sure, dude." Yeah.
Wow.
Like, this is not a place you ask questions
Yeah.
at. And they even gave me a number with the FBI agent if I ever got in trouble for me to call this person. For
Wait a
sure. I
minute.
had that.
Wait, hang on. An FBI agent?
Yeah, they gave me a card with a name of an FBI agent on it, and they said if I was ever out on a mission, I got in trouble, I could call this person.
What?
Yeah, for sure. That happened.
Did you ever have to call him?
Nah, never.
Did they say anything else about who this FBI agent was? That is very unusual.
No, they didn't. This is really one of the first times I've remembered about that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting
Sure,
piece of information.
for sure, for sure.
Like, and I want to be clear, what was your understanding?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're in legal trouble, if you're out on one of these things and something bad happens, you call
Yeah,
this guy and he's going to fix it?
more or less. It's like, I mean, those words "fix it" weren't used, but if I got in trouble, yeah,
Interesting. An
yeah,
FBI agent.
yeah.
Damn, man, that's actually pretty interesting.
Right, for sure.
Did you, in the year you were there, was there ever any other comment or statement or order or anything you ever heard out of the DSA's mouth or anybody else about the FBI or the federal government?
No,
Just that.
no. Just that, yeah. That
Wow.
was, yeah. Other than
Interesting.
that, they're pretty stuck on their own organization.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're very internalized and they very and as we've gone over, they like to keep things quiet. So
Right.
that's fascinating that you would get that name and number, you know?
I mean, at the time, I was just like, hell yeah, I got help if I ever got in trouble.
Right.
I never thought anything. I really never thought that too much into it, really, until right now.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, to have an FBI agent at your beck and call, or to have somebody like that at a level, I mean, that's a lot of power. An
For
FBI
sure.
agent is not a cop. An FBI agent is a
Right.
federal agent.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of some heavy weight to help you out if you run into trouble.
For sure. Well, I mean, if you think about what I was doing, it's kind of along the same lines of what you would think that organization does too.
Yeah, exactly. So you're what, 15, 16 years old? Like this San Francisco thing. I got to ask a little bit more about that because you were following somebody at Comic Con.
Yeah, they were at Comic Con, and I guess they had. This is just knowledge I've gathered just through watching my own observations of shit and
Sure.
stuff. I saw that they were like protest organizers, and they were coming down there with OT material that they were giving out. I don't know what Scientology. I think maybe Scientology was promoting like Battlefield Earth or something, and they must have had like a booth there. And so there. This is like I said. This is not based off my own memory, and they were passing out flyers, or they were the ones who organized the protests. Of the people that were passing out flyers. And then at one point, once I was done surveilling them, we went back to Comic Con, and they just asked me to go and keep taking flyers. So I just like took flyers as many as I could and then threw them away. That was
Got
like the
it.
strategy.
Did you ever read them?
No, dude, no way. No.
Right. Right. Go get those pieces of
Yeah.
paper and throw them away, and they're evil, and you better not read it.
Oh, dude, I was scared to read it. I was like, damn, I had to face down to the ground. I was like, don't accidentally see that shit. You could die.
That's
I thought
right.
I could die at any moment.
That's
I read
right.
that
See,
shit.
I say this stuff, and I wonder sometimes if people actually believe me, which is why it's so nice to hear it from your mouth.
Oh, dude, I believe that like my arms would just snap and I would just start breaking in half.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Believe that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, I didn't read any of those flyers. I just threw them away. And then after that, after the protesters left, we just like hung around, and chilled for a little bit and went back to our hotel and then did whatever we had to do for that day as a debrief or something, and then go back home and then debrief at home and then get briefed again. I don't know.
On whatever else you were going to do. What other
Yeah.
kind of, you said you went on about 7 of these things. What other things did you do?
Um. Okay. What other things did we do? We would go down to like other people's orgs. Like we went down to like the San Diego org to help them out with some case where they were like following somebody. Maybe it was somebody that blew. I don't know, but they were trying to find somebody, so they would send us out to find people. If we didn't like a SEER member blew maybe or something. So I did a few of those where we were just driving around, literally asking like, "Have you seen this person?" and trying to track them down, type deals. Um, oh man, and then it was pretty much stuff like that. I was just working with so many different people. Sometimes I didn't even really know what I was doing.
Well, I was about to comment on that. It's so interesting. You're looking for a person you don't even know why. You just
Yeah,
got to find them. I
yeah,
mean,
that's it. I just know that I trust the church, but everything. So if they say something, it's obviously for the greatest good.
right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. Duh, I'm a Scientologist, bro.
Right. Wow. Well, okay, so you get off, you got these random things, these projects, missions you're going out on. Um, it's funny to me that they called them missions too, because missions is a Sea Org thing. So it's really funny to me that they use that language within the DSA network.
Yeah, well, the DSA, they consider themselves like elite as fuck.
Yeah, well, I'll bet they do. Of course they
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
way over HCO.
Oh yeah. No, it's all status. It's all
Yeah.
status. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting. So how come only a year? What happened? How'd you end up?
I got kicked out. I was found out to be not qualified because well, after I learned how to read, I read a can of air duster, um, and I inhaled it because it said inhaling abuse is illegal. So I was like, oh shit, that means I can get you high. I was like 12 years old, so I inhaled it, and so I inhaled that thing a couple more times, and I got high off it. And I wrote that up in one of my OWs when I was in the network. We just had to do like everyone gets sec checked at like all these certain times. So I got sec checked and I got that off as an overt. And someone in the DSA network was like, oh, so he's what's called a revert now. We can't take reverts, even though I wasn't a revert. I was the first time I ever tried anything.
Right.
You know, I was just growing up really and just trying shit out and just doing shit.
And it's funny because that's how they label it. Like they assume if you're a second generation Scientologist like
Right?
you're born into it, and then you go do drugs ever for any reason, you drug reverted. You went to drugs after becoming a Scientologist.
And that's what people don't understand is like, nah, it's not like that at all for me. I had nothing to go back to. I was going to something else.
Right.
I was already over here. I went to all Scientology schools.
Oh, did you? You didn't go to
Yeah,
public schools?
I graduated from the California Ranch School.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a couple people who were in Mojave, out in New
So
Mexico.
that's where they send the cadets.
Yeah.
A lot of cadets, for
Yep.
sure.
And then,
I was threatened.
uh-huh.
I was threatened with it.
Wow. Were
Yeah.
do you know Nathan Rich?
Rich.
Might have been a different time.
Might have been a different time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there was a long history with that ranch. And I think Nathan was at the ranch too. Anyway, yeah, wild times, man.
Yeah, for sure. And
Wow,
I was.
wow. So,
Yeah.
so you were entirely educated at Scientology schools.
Yeah, I went to. I was also an applied scholastics child tutor. So when I was 13, we went to Africa and the Gambia, and we taught the whole country. We were invited by the president of the Gambia, and we taught their whole school, this whole school system, applied scholastics technology. And they were the first country to ever have every government agency using applied scholastics technology to teach their nation.
Damn, you went to Africa for that?
Yeah, bro. And I was there to teach because some of the kids, the life for the adults was like from 14 to like 25 was like the age group range there. It was like real small. So they needed young people to relate with the younger adults
Huh.
because they're adults. Yeah. So I went there and I helped everyone understand the curriculum. I taught them about the misunderstood word. I taught them about the lack of mass and too steep a gradient and what the manifestations were. And I showed them how to do a clay demo and things like that.
Huh. Just the basics of Hubbard's study methodology.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you end up on that? You went from the DSA office to that?
No, that was before DSA office.
Oh, that was before. Oh, okay, that was before. Damn,
Yeah,
you have had an interesting life, dude.
yeah, for sure. We went to Thailand and did the same thing. That was the first time we did it. We went to Thailand and then we did it and went to Africa. My mom, she's like a super hardcore Scientologist, like activist lady, bro. You know what I mean? She's just like creating stuff and groups all the time and putting shit together. You know how those people are.
Oh yeah,
So
I do.
her and her friend was John Travolta's kid's tutor. That was my mom's best friend.
Okay.
So they start groups because that's just kind of the crowd that they're in, and they're always just like super social and like changing the world at all times. So they invented a group called the International Freedom Corps, and it was full of them and their kids, us, and they had their kids come, and my mom had us come, and we had just taught because that's all we knew was Scientology. So it was easy for us, and it was perfect to teach a 13-year-old teacher with a 13-year-old coach.
Right. Wow.
Right, for sure.
Huh. How long were you? How long were you in Taiwan, and then how long in Africa? How long did that take to do that work?
We were in Thailand for maybe 21 days, but I want to say we were in Gambia for like 6 or 7 weeks, probably.
Wow.
We did like 500 people a day sometimes.
Jam. And this was with your mom.
This is with my mom. My dad was not a part of it.
Okay, but you're at least you were with your mom.
Yeah, I was with my mom. Yeah, for sure. That part wasn't really that bad at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Part.
No, I mean, teaching people
Yeah.
about, looking up words in a dictionary, there's nothing particularly wrong
Yeah.
with that. The only problem with Scientology is they say that's the only thing wrong with study, and that's bullshit.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on in life than that.
Exactly. Exactly. And in the classroom. Wow. So, okay. Wow, man. International traveler, DSA spy,
Ah,
drunk driver. I mean, you've got a lot of interesting things here. So then what? Like, okay, so then you basically get the black mark on your record from this DUI, and then after all this work you've done, after all this support you've given to the church, as a kid, they just throw you to the curb. Is that it? Am I getting that right?
yeah. So like, but I was also like hanging out with high profile kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I was causing flaps in people's worlds that I shouldn't be causing flaps in because I'm fucking with their kids.
Oh, is that what they told you?
That's what happened.
That's what happened. Okay.
I just know that's what happened. And they were like blaming me for like someone trying weed. Now this person's been drinking, and Shane's always been there at the middle of everything, is what they're trying to say. Like whenever someone's doing something wrong, I just always happen to be there. So they use me as the common denominator, and they're like, well, we're going to make him the source of this. And they're like, basically you control everybody. That's what I was told. I was like, really? I control all you motherfuckers? All right.
Wow. So you were the scapegoat, basically.
Oh, for sure, dude. I'm always the scapegoat, dude.
Wow. Wow, man.
For sure.
Okay, so you tried, but you're grazed with this shit. So when they hit you with this, and they're like, okay, you're a criminal now, you're the reason, was there a plan of how to become a good Scientologist again, or was it just get the hell out of here?
After I spent 2 years doing programs, and then after the last one I completed, I went to a field group by a lady named Chris Farmer. She has the infield group in Anderson, Indiana, along and with Judy Nagengast, and they both have this field group, and she audits and she CSs. Okay. And so I went out there, and she takes a lot of cases that are people that aren't in good standing with the church, because she's a field group and she can accept anybody. So I went to her with my type B. I did about a year's worth of like auditing. Like she did all sorts of crazy shit on me. I forget the name of it. ARC straight wire. The Ned, she ran new aerodynamics on me. Man, Scientology drug rundown, genetics drug rundown. I think there's both of those are separate. I think.
Yep. Did you do your grades?
The interior, the int rundowns.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For when you supposedly have an out-of-body experience.
I have, but never in Scientology.
Oh, interesting.
I have had out-of-body experience, but it wasn't like anything anyone's ever described to me. I didn't see myself anywhere. I just knew I was just like flying around, and that's a whole nother story for another time.
Sure. No, fair enough. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go out to this lady, you get a bunch of auditing. She ethics you, audits you, does all this.
And
Scientology.
she has her own reputation. Uh-huh. So she even puts together her little pretty pack and was like, I fixed them. Here, go upper management. Check this out. So then they're like, nah, someone from my past who knew me as a kid looked at the file, was like, nah, basically, fuck Shane, still fuck this kid. And she was like, damn, this girl has it out for you. She gave me a list of references, what she decided before she was going to send my liability condition, that I needed to read this, and that, and all this crap. And so that's when I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going to go do my own shit. I'm not going to spend any more time trying to fight to be a part of a group that doesn't want me to be there.
Exactly. Especially after 2 years.
So that's how I started defecting. And then I started basically just trying to find out like what truth is real. Like what is real. And that I'm still on that journey.
Hey, it's the journey for the rest of your life, man. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I'm on the same road.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, man. Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, so at this point, how long has it been since you spoke with your parents?
All right, so very recently, my mom just came back in my life in the past year because we have our kid. So while my fiance was pregnant, she started communicating with us.
Really?
So yeah, so for the
After how
last like,
long? How long had it been?
7, 8 years,
Oh, of nothing.
yeah, nothing.
Wow. Christmas
Um,
cards?
huh?
Christmas cards? Anything?
Absolutely zero communication.
Wow. But then the baby comes and then your mom reaches out.
My mom reached out a little bit because her husband passed. Her husband that she remarried
Oh, your
died of cancer.
stepfather.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize they. Yeah, right, they got divorced. Okay.
both of them remarried.
Got it.
This happened like almost 10 years ago. So really, I got back in communication with my mom after her recent husband passed because I felt really bad for her because I know my mom hasn't really experienced any serious loss like that. So I like hit her up and I was just trying to like mend things with us a little bit. And I told her I was sorry for, just like, I don't know, maybe coming across in a way she didn't understand and it being hurtful, but those aren't my intentions and
That's
things like
cool.
that.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, so I sent her a letter like that, and then she responded like, "Thank you so much. That actually helped more than you even knew." Blah blah blah. So then we had some dialogue, and then it just kind of grew from there. And then we started doing a little bit of FaceTime with my girlfriend and like another one of the siblings in the room. And then when the baby was born, we did some FaceTimes, and with, my sister also just had a baby, so with the babies and everything was good. But as soon as I posted that GoFundMe, they all stopped talking to me. Not one word, deleted off Facebook. My dad says, "You're dead to me," basically. He's crying, drinking booze. Like, yeah, I'm over here like, I don't know, considered to be like destroying something sacred in life, is how I'm supposed to feel. It's how I'm supposed to feel. But I don't feel that way anymore because I know it's not true. It's some bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, man. All because of a GoFundMe. Now, I'm going to put a link to it when we post this thing.
Okay.
What's the deal?
Basically, so right now, my current situation, I was driving a truck for a little bit, and this we were picking up compost, and so we have a lot of accounts with restaurants around town. Of course, COVID hit. All the restaurants around here got shut down. So basically, I'm driving a truck all day with nothing to pick up. So they
Mm,
were just like, "Yeah, I knew it was coming because my routes were getting like 2 hours just to do the route, and I was getting like 4 hours a day just driving the empty trucks around." So I got furloughed and then I got laid off. And so I've been on unemployment through the state, which was fine for a while because I was awarded $104 a week. But if I at least made $100, then I qualified for the extra stimulus that they gave for the unemployment. So everything was fine. I was just about breaking even for a while. Then they took the unemployment benefits away. So now I'm at 100 a week. And so that's where that's at. So
I got it.
I've been just kind of finding little things here and there to make money.
Got it.
But a truck broke down, and that's
Okay.
what I use. So right now, for right now, yeah, my truck's broken down, and my unemployment is very little. So
Got
that's
it.
yeah. I
And
got
why were I haven't read your GoFundMe. Why are your parents so pissed about it? Do you talk about Scientology in there?
yeah, I do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Got
Yeah,
it.
I go into so I've been diagnosed with bipolar, and I go into a little bit about needing medicine and what it's like when I'm in a bipolar fit and the cause of that.
Got it. Got it. And your parents are still pretty anti-psych because of the Scientology stuff.
100 anti-psych. They think that the reason that I would ever talk about this is because I'm on psych drugs, and that's what they're telling people.
Okay. Yeah, pretty sad, man. That's pretty sad.
Tell them they don't acknowledge mental health,
No,
so
they want to shut psychiatry down and destroy it.
for sure.
Wow. So you've been having to live with that,
Yeah,
dude, and a
yeah.
newborn. So they're all excited about the newborn, but then the psychiatry stuff comes up and they pull the plug.
Yeah.
Man,
For
That's
sure.
very sad. That's very sad. Where are your parents? Okay, so they're divorced, remarried. Did they
Yeah.
remarry Scientologists?
Yes. Both
Okay,
of them.
and
Yeah.
because it's funny, because my parents got out, or sort of got out, but they didn't really officially get out at all. They just sort of were fading,
Okay.
kind of going under the radar a little bit, and not really even talking trash about it. I mean, sometimes a little bit of stuff to me, but not too much, right? They were still Scientologists, and then they got divorced, and then they both remarried non-Scientologists.
Really?
Yeah, and I knew something was up at that point, right? Because that happened when I was in the Sea Org.
Oh wow, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I call that defecting.
yeah,
You know, people they just get out nice and easy, and they're like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And they
yep,
just kind of stroll out.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that was
I defected in that way, and then met a lot of people that were real spiritual.
yep.
At least that I thought were real spiritual, and we just kind of connected up. Like my fiance, she's real spiritual. She's done 13 ayahuasca ceremonies. I don't know if you've heard of ayahuasca.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have. Yeah, that's spiritual. All
yeah,
right, man, that's cool. Cool. Well, like I said, the road to truth, man. It's whatever. It goes lots of different places.
for sure. No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. We just don't want to, and I don't even mind, some of the stuff in Scientology might even be kind of interesting in some ways. I'm not talking about the OT crap, but, some of the stuff is, it can be a little useful here and there, but they just blow it so out of proportion. It just makes it ridiculous.
Well, the thing here's where like I went wrong is as soon as I learned how to read, all I wanted to read was the R&D vols.
Oh,
And I read them all the time, bro. I just sat up at night reading the R&D vols. And he talks about some trippy ass shit, bro.
yes, he
Some
does.
trippy ass shit, dude. Like shit that like I like fell asleep listening to lectures here at my house. And I know my fiance thought I was a little crazy probably because I was listening to LRH lectures in my sleep, bro, right? I
Oh,
ended up
man.
having like a psychosis, moments of psychosis from listening to it too much.
I could see how that could happen. I could see
Dude,
that.
bro. He gets into this one lecture called The Roll of Earth. I don't know if you've ever heard that
Oh,
lecture.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
that those lectures they could like throw me into straight psychosis at my age now, dude. I start thinking like weird shit's going on, you know?
Yeah, that's the Roll of Earth, by the way, for people out there, is a lecture that has never officially been released by the Church of Scientology. It is recorded at such poor quality. It sounds like Hubbard's literally talking out of a bathroom or something. I mean, it's
R&D balls.
yeah, but it's in the R&D vols. And the R&D vols that Shane's referring to for everybody out there are the research and discovery series of books that Scientology has published. And all they are is the tape transcripts, the lecture transcripts from the very first lecture Hubbard ever gave on Dianetics forward in time, chronologically. And they go through every lecture that they have a transcript for and they put it up there, even the ones where the lectures were too poor quality to be released as a lecture on a CD or on a tape. They have the transcript for it. So there's some trip ass shit in there that serves as some of the claims Hubbard makes. And
Yeah.
and this lecture you're referring to for the public out there, right? The role of Earth. What's the role of Earth? What is Earth's position in the solar system, in the universe? How do alien creatures and species think about Earth? And Hubbard lays down some Matrix level shit in that lecture. I mean, cray stuff, right? Real science fiction stuff. And you can find it in the R&D vols. You can probably find transcripts of it online somewhere if you Google it.
YouTube.
What's that?
You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, good.
That's
So,
I listened to it. I remember I read that when I was like 12 years old. And I was like, dude, I just remember being hit with so much knowledge. I was like, bro, I know so much right now.
oh, you and me both, man. You and me
I knew all
both.
about, I was like, I know all about the Markab civilization, dude. God, this is lit. I know
That's
about
right.
the people on the moon, the Galactic Federation. I know about the Fifth Invader Force,
Yep, all the invader forces. That's right.
bro. And they're still here flying around, and they're oh snap. What happened?
There you go. You're good.
Uh,
Dude,
yeah,
totally. It's what I call the Scientology cosmology,
nice.
right? It's like,
I was for
yeah,
sure.
it's like Hubbard's fucking invention of like how the universe.
Bro, he figured out how to enslave your mind.
Yeah, yeah. And interesting, weird information is such
He gets love
a
it
hook. It's such a
for
hook,
sure, for sure, bro.
you know?
It's crazy, bro. I can't even believe it sometimes, and that's not good because bro, like it can put me into such psychosis, bro. Just listening to that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like it really can. I started thinking crazy. I've had times where I've gone into such psychosis. I thought I was L. Ron Hubbard, and that maybe I was just stuck in session and someone was auditing me,
Wow.
bro.
Wow. Yeah,
For
I
sure,
get it. I get it. Well, I am glad that you are away from that now.
for sure. Bro, I take medication for it,
Good.
for
Good.
sure. But the
Yeah.
thing is like, do you know how scary it was for me to have to talk to a psychiatrist and ask and say what these effects that were being or that were happening to me were real, and I was having like weird psychosis? That was hard because there was a part of me that also felt like I was really fully like ending my bridge forever. Like there's no going back now. I'm getting on psych drugs. And then that part of me is fighting against it, which is causing it even more.
Isn't
But
it
I finally,
crazy?
it's crazy going through that, but I
Yeah.
finally came out the other side and I realized it's so much better this way for me, dude. The meds that they give me help me. You can even ask the people around me. Like I take care of myself and my environment better when I'm on them. But the thing is, you don't have to know why something works in order for it to work.
Correct.
And Scientology is very opposite that like ideology.
That's right. They want you to understand every little thing. And
Right? Can't
well, that's the thing. But then the explanations they give you are bullshit. So it doesn't
for,
really make it make sense.
for sure, for sure, for
That's the
sure.
problem. I mean, if it was true, then we'd be like, okay, good. This is how it is, right? But it's not.
Uh,
It's not. It's
for sure.
provably not. So it's just crazy making, as you've
Yeah,
unfortunately had to live through.
yeah, for sure. But now I don't let it bother me that much, and I just pretty much try to find outlets like this to get it off my head and off my chest, and also for the other person that's gone through it with me in their own way
That's
to
right.
see their understanding of it, and that's something that like not a lot of people I can share that, because I'm sure you don't talk to ex Scientologists all the time, do you?
Not all the
Yeah,
time. No.
sure, for sure. So like, and it's so far and few in between. It's I can only like imagine it just like an animal being so cooped up in the house, and then for like a year it gets out for the first time. They're like, oh my god, and they see another animal. Not that we're animals, but you know what I mean.
Totally.
For sure. So
Totally.
I'm like,
Well,
uh,
I'll tell you, I'll share this with you. You might get something out of it. When I um, first got out, when I first got out, right? When I went down, this is back in 2013.
okay.
Okay, that was the worst year and the best year of my life, both at the same time, right? Because it was the year I got out of Scientology, but it was also the year I lost everything,
Right.
right?
Same.
Yeah, fiance, friends, everything, all gone, right? Sucked. That year sucked, but it was great because it was the truth. I needed the truth, and I found out the truth. But one of the things I did was, and I'm not at all suggesting you do this. I'm just letting you know how I dealt with this. Is after I got out, there were two things that I needed to fix in my head right away, and one of them was Scientology's attitude toward homosexuals, toward LGBT, because it's really fucked up because they're very homophobic, right?
Sure.
And
My brother's gay. He went through that.
there you go.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, so I had to fix that. I had to actually go talk to some LGBT people
I,
and
do that.
figure out that they're not all mentally ill, right?
I had to do that too, though.
Right? So
Yeah.
so there's that, and then the other thing was I started researching and read some books on psychiatry.
Right.
And I knew and I had read all of the CCHR stuff. I watched all the DVDs. I watched all the documentaries. I read all their books. So I knew Scientology and what they were saying about psychiatry. And I thought psychiatry was evil and it must be destroyed, right? So I come out and I go, well, I've only heard Scientology's version of this. What else is there? And I read some other stuff on psychiatry and I found out, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. There's some really messed up stuff with psychiatry, but there's also help possible for people like you, people like my wife, you know, who is on antidepressants. And it's necessary for her day to day that she be on those medications. And she's a wonderful person, you know, and they help her. So I learned about that and I went, okay, Scientology's taken this too damn far, like they do everything else, you know?
No, you said it, man. I feel the same way. I've said it so many times, you know, like, for sure.
Yeah.
We're definitely both preaching to the choir, for sure.
Well, a little, but, you know, I just want to share because it's like this is the stuff we have to figure out when we get out. We got to get our heads straight. And it takes time and it's hard, you know. You had to do your thing.
Because people don't expect you not being that far out of reality. They're just like, they don't expect that from you. And you're like, wait, what? I had someone call bullshit on me because I didn't know what patriarchy was. I never heard of patriarchy, the word. Yep. This dude was like, oh, bullshit. You know what that is? I was like, no, I fucking don't, dude. No. It seemed like I do, but that's like how they taught me to operate in Scientology.
That's right.
You know? And in a way, it saved me in society because I have ways of figuring things out that aren't the same norm of what they teach out here.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
Yeah, for sure. It's weird, bro. It's like I'm an alien or something, dude.
I totally get it, man. I so know what you mean. I have felt the exact same way sometimes.
It can be isolating, for sure.
It can.
And I think one of the main reasons I started just kind of creeping out of wanting to talk about it publicly is because I think it can isolate me because I'll try to talk about it with someone else and they're always interested, but then it becomes too much for them.
Yep.
To understand because there's so many aspects of it. It's hard to compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize, yeah. Hard to figure out, yeah.
Yeah, that word, and figure everything out.
Yep. Dude, why do you think I have? Okay, check this out, man. I mean, I know. You see, you and I have just met, right? Like people don't know. Like Shane and I, we do not have history, right? Until like last week, we didn't even know each other. And we just messaged a bit and then got on this call. So I wanna, you know, so yeah, sharing the experiences and stuff and talking about this can be really helpful, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, people don't know. Like it's taken me, like you don't necessarily know on my channel. I've made hundreds of videos about Scientology.
Yeah.
Because that's how much it took for me to get it all out of my head.
For sure. So that's I'm at the beginning of that right now with you right now.
Right.
You know? And well, Tony.
Yeah.
But my stuff with Tony's, it's dragging out, but you know, it's my fault because it's so hard. It's like, where do I start?
Exactly, man. Well, here's a start. We have made a start today, you know, and maybe we'll do more of this. Maybe you'll do more with Tony. Maybe we'll see what happens with this.
I want to do more. For sure.
Yeah.
There's just so much to cover, you know. I'll think more about things that would be more interesting.
Oh, don't worry about that. So all the things you have said today are very interesting.
For sure.
Yeah. No doubt about it. So don't think you have to dive into too much worse.
Right.
Yeah, don't worry about that, okay? The thing that I want to do for you or help you with or whatever, you know, part of what I'm trying to do here is, I'm trying to expose Scientology and the abuses. But for my own experience with this, however you want to tell your story, it's going to help you.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and that's what we're trying to do with this too. So cool, man. Well, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate you taking the time to break all this down, man.
Right back at you. I really appreciate it as well. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
It was a lot of fun.